And we're back with more numbers. Hello and welcome back to How Bored. I'm Christian. I'll be your host for this evening as I go over some more of my monthly board game stats. A little more formal this month. I don't know why. I just felt like it, I guess. But anyways, we're back with some more numbers, and we're actually going to move a segment up this time around. We're going to be talking about new games I got this month before getting into the rest of it, because the rest of it will kind of spoil a little bit of this section of the video. Normally this was the 10 games, or like less than 10 games purchased in the year challenge that I failed probably 3 months in, so now it's just a section where I got to show you all the new games that I had show up this month. And the first one that I got here is actually a game that I technically already had, I just had a different version of it, and that is Grunts. This is now a game released by Allplay. I backed it on the Container Kickstarter, and I now have the copy of Grunts from Allplay in my hands. Originally, I actually had the prototype made by Bull Mansion Studio that they had sent me last year while I was making content for a different channel. And I still love it, have it. It's absolutely a fantastic game. They didn't really change a whole lot between the versions, which I actually really appreciate. They did so good in the original design that I'm happy they stuck with most of it. They just kind of cleared up some things in the rule book and made it a little easier to read, which was also, again, very appreciated. But a nice, easy, two-player only game that's got a good back and forth to it. It is very chess-like with a World War II theme on it. And I think it's actually quite fun. So if you haven't seen anything on it yet, I definitely recommend checking out Grunts. Not sponsored. They didn't pay me to do anything. They sent me a copy last year to review it, and it never got around to, them actually asking me to release a video for it, so I didn't. And here I am, just being able to talk about it freely, because I did buy this copy of Grunts with my own money, and this is the copy I will be playing from now on and referring to. So, just so that is clear, that is not sponsored or paid for, in any way, shape, or form am I directly affiliated with them. It's just a game I got. They gave me a prototype. I ended up really liking it, so I bought the actual game. Cool. Next one we got here is a Kickstarter delivery in Deep Regrets and Even Deeper Regrets expansion. This was actually technically a birthday present that ended up coming a couple months late as there were some delays, but nonetheless it has been a ton of fun. So this was a new delivery that I got, and this is actually on my 10x10 list. More on that in a little bit, but yeah, so Deep Regrets, I've only played the base game so far. I have not gotten into the expansion yet, because I really do want to dive pretty well into this game and get very familiar with it first before doing a lot with that expansion. But I knew I was going to want the expansion, especially playing it as a solo player. I was going to want a ton of fish to catalog, so very happy to have both those. I do already have an insert for both of them, so there is a little bit of lid lift on this box, which is fine. It's really not that big of a deal. The insert is fantastic. It does a great job at holding everything in there. And I've been really, really enjoying playing this game so far. I got it at the start of the month, I think pretty much a day or two after I did the last stats video recording, I got my copy of this, and it was very exciting. I've been loving it a lot. Now, of course, it did also come with Shallow Regrets, which I forgot to bring down with me. That is in another room right now, but I do have my copy of Shallow Regrets with the expansions for that as well. So everything Deep Regrets I now own, because of course this also came with the Lamentable Tentacles mini expansion. So literally everything Deep Regrets I do own as of late. So very exciting. Absolutely thrilled about that. I want to put that down here though, because I'm tight on space. Especially because the box sizes are only getting bigger with the second to last game of the month. I guess I'll talk about the other game of the month that I got was Daily Weather. My copy of Daily Weather from Button Shy. Also a game I forgot to bring down in here, so I don't have it with me right now. But just a little wallet game. And it's actually really unique in being that it's a new daily puzzle every time you play it. Based on what day of the year it is going to dictate the challenge that you face. And it's going to be different year in, year out, because it also accounts for different weeks, for different days of the week. And I think overall it's actually quite fascinating. And they came out with an expansion with it that I didn't expect at all, but it was very nice to have as an add-on in there. But I've been playing that daily as well. Of course, it's basically like a Wordle replacement for a lot of people. I never got into Wordle, but this is a game I very much can get into, because it's that nice, light puzzle to start your day off with. It's always going to be unique. You always have something new. I put it up there kind of alongside, well, it's hard to compare them, but I put it similar to like Turing Machine in that It's something you want to keep coming back to daily because it's a light and easy puzzle, but it's a nice little brain teaser that I think is just fantastic with a cup of coffee to get your day going. So, Daily Weather, second to last one. The last game of the month here, the one I am most excited about, and that I just got last week. It was like right at the end of the month, but it was a quick delivery. The rest of this campaign is still coming next year, but I got my quick delivery copy of The Old King's Crown. I am so excited to have this game. This has a very high chance of being like top 5 board games of all time. So far, I have only played this a couple of times. We'll get into that in a bit. But ever since the first Shut Up and Sit Down video about this last year, like their Board Game Direct series, it was just a small segment about it, but I was very excited for this. And then No Pun Included brought it up, and it started popping up in a lot more places, and I continuously fell more and more in love with it before even getting it. So when I was able to back the campaign and saw that they had a quick delivery option, I got on that as soon as I could. And I am so thrilled to have this game. I'm looking forward to the expansions, both The Waking Kingdom and Songs of Home, to have more factions to play with, have more modules to play with. I can already see so many elements to this game that are going to allow for long-term skill expression and just overall replayability, and I'm so thrilled about it. Normally, this is not the type of game that I would enjoy, but the way that Old King's Crown is executed is just fantastic, and everything is laid out so beautifully. I'm not going to do a full review here, but so far, I am loving this game. Even after only having it for like a week, I was already in love with it before I got it, and it's only gotten stronger. So that is the last new game to my collection for the month of June in 2026, so that we can actually get into some stats now. So let's go ahead and start off here with, let me get the notebook handy. Alright, so getting into the actual stats part of this now, as far as our 1,000 annual plays challenge goes, currently, we are at, for the month of June, we got another 94 plays, which is really surprising. I honestly thought it was going to be a really slow month. There was a lot of life circumstances going on, a lot of things that were kind of getting in the way and made it hard for me to play board games or be in the mood for playing board games, so I thought it was going to be really slow. I did, of course, as a result, end up playing quite a few smaller games, but not like, they'd still take like 20 minutes or so or whatever on average. But and I snuck in some heavier games as well. But yeah, it was just kind of an awkward month, so I tried to play as much as I could still. And I ended up with 94. It was way more than I expected to have. I thought I was going to be like in the 60s, maybe 70s if I was lucky. Nope, walked away in the 90s, and we're at a total of 537 plays for the year, making us well over the halfway point at the halfway point of the year. So trucking on quite well for that. We've got a good bit of leeway. We'll probably be done with this challenge before December even starts, in all honesty, if we keep going this way. Which is fine by me. I'm loving playing these games and really getting in deep with a lot of these titles. But I'm also learning to respect myself a little bit more and be willing to take breaks when I'm not quite in the mood and not forcing it. So it's been a good month of balance in that regard, and I do really appreciate that. For the 10 by 10 plays, we currently have 7 of our 10 games completed. I mentioned earlier that Deep Regrets was on our 10 by 10, and in the less than a month time that I have had it, I have already gotten through all 10 plays. 2 of those were multiplayer, the other 8 were solo games, but it was one of those, I just got into it, and I kept going, and I was playing it 2 to 3 times a week, roughly, is what I was averaging, and, I don't normally do that with games. Normally, I'm bouncing around playing a lot of different games. This was a rare occasion where I just had no problem playing the same game over and over again and really enjoying it. In fact, I would still love to keep playing it, but I also have other games that I want to play, so I'm trying to kind of space myself out a little bit so I don't go too crazy on it. I've pretty much almost caught all of the fish in the base game for the solo mode and cataloged them all. There's just a few left that I'm missing. Then I'm going to do the Lamentable Tentacles expansion, and then I'll go on to Even Deeper Regrets. So I've got a good amount of playtime still left in that game for solo, and then even multiplayer is good overall long time haul. Like there's plenty of replayability with that, letting other people explore all the fish and get to encounter all those same things that I did during my solo play. And also get some more unique experiences with direct player interaction that doesn't happen in the solo mode. I'm probably also going to end up trying the solo mode bot at some point that was designed by a fan of the game. I'm very intrigued to try it out. I got to actually look into it and see if it's something I would enjoy, but it looks like fun. So Deep Regrets is done. We have 2 plays of Old King's Crown so far, 1 solo, 1 3-player. And again, just out of those 2 plays, I already see so much room for skill expression and longevity with it that I'm going to be looking forward to this game for years to come. And I'm not necessarily in as much of a rush to get this one done because I really want to savor it and enjoy it. I would say the solo game that I played probably took me about 2.5 hours in total. There was like intermittent pauses in there or moments that I had to go into the rulebook and refresh on a couple of little things, but overall it was a very good experience. 3 players went fairly seamlessly after like the first year or two, but that was overall pretty good. I love the way that Old King's Crown approaches just its overall design and flow. So 2 plays of that already, I'm seeing so many beautiful things with it. I look forward to many, many plays down the road. Even just the 10 plays that I plan on getting this year. Next, at Lairs, we are at 9 plays. We need 1 more to beat that one. I almost did it, but I decided not to rush on that one. I wanted to wait for the right moment on that one, kind of savor it a little bit, because I love Lairs. That's another fantastic game as well. Absolutely love it. Sweetland, still nothing on yet because I don't have my copy. That should be showing up in the next couple months, roughly, is what the estimates are showing, but I'm not going to hope too much on that. I'm going to leave a little wiggle room for a reasonable doubt. Otherwise, I think all these other ones have been known. We finished Knitting Circle, we finished Endeavor Deep Sea, finished Final Girl, Wormspan, Septima, and Expeditions are all done. So we're all good with that. Like I said, we're 7 out of 10 games done. We need 1 more play on Lairs, 8 more on Old King's Crown, and then we still need all 10 on Sweetlands, which I don't think any of those are going to be a problem whatsoever. I'm very excited for all of them. As far as that goes, there were a lot of changes to the top 20 in review, and I kind of don't want to talk about them because most of them are going to be huge spoilers for the top 20 video at the end of the year. So just maybe a couple quick changes here. I suppose I will say that Lairs, Old King's Crown, and Deep Regrets did all make it onto the list, but I'm not going to list exactly where. Spooktacular's been kind of threatening to inch its way up a little bit on the list. Scythe had a small bump, oddly enough. Not something I expected to happen that soon, but it's not quite my second best or second most favorite game anymore. And there were some pretty big shifts in this entire list over this month. Especially because I did kind of skip it for the month of May. I forgot to actually update it when I was doing this during that month, so I didn't have any numbers for that. So between April and June, there were a lot of big changes to that list, and like I said, I'm not going to dig too much into those because I don't want to spoil too much for the end of the year. But that's that. We'll go ahead and get into the final numbers here, and we'll let you be on your way. Not that I'm sure anyone's really heard this late in the video, but that's okay. I don't mind. I'm just here to make this as like kind of a diary for myself. So, for the month of June, again, 94 plays across 50 different games. So I had a pretty good amount of variety. It was almost 2 plays per game, basically, this month is what we almost averaged. The only 10 that I had for the month, the only dime, was Deep Regrets at 10 plays. I had 3 different 5s, being the Daily Weather, Ransom, and Food Chain Island. All Button Shy games, I know, but it was a great month for getting to play Button Shy. I'd have like 15 minutes in the morning, so I'd be able to get through one of these games before having to leave and do stuff for the day. So they were great for that. A total of 19 plays between the 3 of those. So that did help me a lot for keeping up on my numbers, but also just being able to enjoy a game and not have to stress too much about it. Daily Weather's been great for like the past week that I've had it, so very happy for that. Nothing else quite there. For new games that I've played this month, obviously Deep Regrets and Daily Weather were both new plays, as well as Old King's Crown were new to me. Also got to play Agent Avenue, literally just the last day of June. I got to play that 3 times off of my dad's copy because he got it finally. He's been waiting for a while to get his hands on it. So we got to play that. Wasn't too bad. Hot Streak, got to play that for the first time. I got Magical Athlete last month, and then he picked up Hot Streak, and his copy delivered this month. So we had to try that out a couple times as well. Tacta, the little card game, I found a copy, and I got it for him as a Father's Day gift, or as one of his Father's Day gifts. And so we played that a couple times. It's quite neat spatial puzzle game. I actually really do think it's quite cute and enjoyable. Not a bad game whatsoever. He got a copy of Toy Battle. We played that at the start of the month a couple times. I don't think I'm the biggest fan of it. There's something about Paolo Mori's designs that I don't really gel with either. He's not bad, but they're just not games that I particularly care for, and Toy Battle's not really much of an exception. I think the only exception I've found so far of Paolo Maurice is Libertalia, and even then that's kind of been losing some interest to me a little bit, but I don't know. It's a weird spot. Also got to play Compile Main 2. I've played plenty of the first box several times. But he picked up a copy of Main 2 this month as well, so now we have more additions to the game that's both standalone and an expansion to the original Compile. I think the Main 2 box did a lot more for the game than the first one did. I felt like the Main 1 box was honestly quite dry, and Main 2 adds a lot more diversity and unique playstyles to it, at least from what I've experienced so far, and I'm quite preferring it. I'm curious to see how they mix and match, in all honesty. That's what I'm curious for. And that's all the new to be games. That's all the special stuff for this month. Nothing else really super notable, in all honesty. Just another month of good casual gaming, enjoying myself as best I can, and looking forward to getting back into some of these heavier, bigger titles because I'm starting to get back in the brain space for it a little bit more and finding a little more availability for them. So hopefully I'll be able to start diving into those a bit more and really getting deep with them. But that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoy these stats videos. I know they don't really add much value to you, but again, these are just kind of like a diary entry for me so I can look back and see how I was doing at a certain point in my life with gaming and what I was really interested in and what was, making me excited. So anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I got more videos, like actual videos on the way, don't worry. I appreciate seeing you all here. Your support has been great, and I look forward to seeing you in future videos. As always, happy gaming.